Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where experts in the field inform, educate and inspire their community to be healthier, more balanced and live the lifestyle they love. Our first guest today, Anthony Kilner, is a psychic, medium and author, and the topic we'll be discussing is spiritual insights and healing through psychics and mediums. Welcome, Anthony.
Thanks for having me, Megan. It's lovely to be here.
So, Anthony, what's the difference between a psychic and a medium?
A psychic does one thing, a medium does another. They can cross over those boundaries. In mediumship, a medium is there to connect with our departed loved ones from the spirit world. And there's a lot of healing that takes place on a heart level during that connection. Whereas a psychic will use more tools, so tarot cards, divining rods, crystals, those sorts of things, to help someone understand where they're at right now and moving forward. So they're two very different sort of modalities, yet the crossovers are quite often very minimal. So you can have a psychic medium, you can have a straight medium, or you can have someone that calls themselves a straight psychic. Now, to highlight that point, I brought in two tools that we can use. One is tarot cards, and this is the Rider-Waite deck, so it's a very old deck, one of the very first decks of tarot, and we can do a whole segment just on tarot. But how would you like to shuffle those for me?
Sure.
And then the other thing I brought in is a set of divining rods, because divining rods are quite often used for not only for finding water and other bits and pieces, they're used by people to get yes and no answers, like a pendulum with a crystal on it, same sort of thing. And so to give you an idea of how this works, I always make sure my hands are locked and I'll ask the question, so open for yes, and they just open up. Then I can go crossover for no, and they'll cross over for no. And then I can say, okay, where's Megan? And point to Megan. Now you can see that's happening without my hands moving, and that's the important part. And so you can get yes, no answers. I use them to measure energy and all sorts of different things. And so that's what you're looking for, is how they react. So one of the things when we talk about how divining rods work is my energy comes through here, it doesn't touch the divining rod at all, and then it flows out and goes up here and up to the spirit world, and this is where I see the universe or spirit actually using it. Now, I can see the energy at the end of this, so I can put my hand up here and grab that energy and just move it like that around, and then I can go back the other way. And it's stretching on me, there you go, and it's going the other way. And so we're talking energy, and the energy of our body and the universe is what helps us understand how things can work and then how we can get our answers for that. Now, you've been shuffling those cards for me. Now, I won't say anything personal or private, but just drag along a card, which one feels right to you. So let's see what you've drawn, Megan.
The King of Cups.
The King of Cups. Wow, what an interesting card to draw. So the King of Cups, you're in your strength, you're emotionally there. Cups represent emotions as one of the main things, and your emotions are contained. You're surveying all that is around you and working out, okay, am I in the good space, not so good space? However, what that tells me is there's some confusion around your emotional state at the moment, and that's okay, you're on top of it. Okay, so it's a very, very brief reading, and we're not getting too personal.
When it comes to healing, I've heard there's different approaches between psychics and mediums.
There is, and there's a school of thought out there that says a medium and a psychic can't be a good healer for different reasons, and I don't subscribe to that, because I believe that all of that energy, it comes from intent and from the heart space. Best healing ever. So if we wanted to break it down a little bit though, a medium can use healing guides, connect up that on that level, and use universal energy to affect good healing, or energy work as I like to call it. And a psychic can utilize things like crystals and sound and vibration, again more tools, and their energy to do it. I believe the energy that's supplied by both happens automatically. So some of the modalities like Reiki, where you're using symbology and hands over the body, as different to some healing that is sound related or hands-on healing, they're all sort of quite different in the modalities, but the energy is still coming from Mother Earth. It's still coming from the universe, and then our intent is to bring about or facilitate good, balanced, energetic healing so it gets the body to heal itself.
What advice can you offer our audience if they'd like to book a psychic or a medium or learn about them?
My suggestion is word of mouth is really good. All right, so talk to people. Ask them if they've seen someone they would recommend. You know, there's lots of ways you can look on the internet now and do all sorts of research that way. However, going with somebody that you trust, that tells you that that person was good, that's the way to go. When it comes to things to look for, is you ring up the medium or the psychic, ask what they're going to give you. What are they going to do? How are they going to do it? And, you know, lots of people have rung me up in the year, oh, how good are you? And I think, well, that's so subjective because I'm only as good as my next reading, all right? So don't ask that question. Find out, how long have you been doing it? How are you going to work? What can I expect? Can I bring a photo of my loved one? Those sorts of things. And also have a list of questions that you might want answered. Because even though, for example, a reading might just be mediumship for the whole time, there could be little snippets of psychic stuff that comes into the middle of it. And so you never know what you're going to quite get. But they're the things that I would be suggesting are really strong points to look at, to book a reading or even an energy session, a healing session. To me, whether you're learning or getting a reading, it's got to work practically. It's got to make sense to you. If your teacher or the person you get to give you a reading, if they're not making sense, it's not going to work. And all the same rules apply to finding a teacher, to sit circle, to learn. Question the teacher. Ask how long they've been teaching, what do they teach, how do they teach it? And all those questions are really, really important to ask. And then find out if they'll let you go and sit in their group for a couple of weeks to try it and see how it fits for you.
Thanks, Anthony. That's such rich information. If you'd like to know more about Anthony Kilner and spiritual insights and healing through psychics and mediums, please go to his webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we have another interesting guest with another interesting topic.
Stay tuned. After the break, psychotherapist specialising in hypnotherapy Julie Makin will be talking about find freedom from a habit or an addiction. Welcome back. Our second guest is Julie Makin, a psychotherapist specialising in hypnotherapy, and we will be discussing how to find freedom from an addiction or a habit. It's so good to see you again, Julie.
Thank you.
So can you define for us what is an addiction and what is a habit?
Yes. So how I would say about a definition, and this is Gabor Mate's, for an addiction, it's anything that provides you with relief, that gives you pleasure, something that you crave, and it may have negative consequences. And even if it has negative consequences, you still continue to do it. So I feel that that is a great definition for what an addiction actually is. What I would say about a habit, so let's just say that somebody might have a habit about getting ready in the morning, and just perhaps they, leave something out or they don't do something, and then maybe they might start to get a little bit agitated or worried, or, they start going into that fight-flight state. So that's the way I would go about saying a habit. Now, as far as addictions are concerned, it can really be anything. So it could be, the good old chocolate addiction, or maybe there's, the more the hardened ones like the drugs or the alcohol. People who go to gym and they get addicted to the pain in their body from doing their workout. That is an addiction. So it can be anything that is a substance or a behaviour.
Why do people have addictions and habits?
Let's just say we have an uncomfortable emotion that comes up. For this purpose, let's just call it anxiety, okay? We all know that anxiety is really uncomfortable to sit in, really uncomfortable. And I can actually remember one particular moment for myself when I'm, at a party, and I've got my glass sitting on the wooden table in front of me, and it's full of water. And my friends are around and they're having a great time. They're singing, the music is blaring, and I'm reaching over to get my glass, and my hand is shaking. I grab the glass, and I can see the glass, the water starting to shake in there. I have to use my second hand in order to stabilize it, because the anxiety is so bad, just to get the glass to my mouth. So anxiety can come up in different ways for you. It can be so powerful. Now, when we've got our anxiety that's coming up, a lot of people, because we're sitting in that discomfort, we need to soothe that pain. And we might do that with smoking or gambling or a drug, whether it be prescription or perhaps, more recreational drug. There's so many different things that this can help, but this helps to soothe that pain and just puts it back down. And we get to a point where, we might feel uncomfortable in our environment. This might start coming up, but you don't feel it, you don't recognize it, because this is already on it, helping us. So the first thought that you might get is, oh, I really need that cigarette or whatever, and it's already there helping soothe it. Now this might be, so whatever the addiction or behavior, whether it be substance, that could actually be soothing the pain. It could be your time out, it could be your escape. Whatever it is, I invite whoever feels that they might have an addiction or a habit, I invite them to get really compassionate for themselves, okay?
So you've mentioned self-compassion. Is there other tools that people can use to help with their addiction or their habit?
Absolutely. I think that the first thing to notice is if you start having this anxiety come up, and perhaps you have your first thought of wanting that cigarette, or that first drink of alcohol, or whatever it is for you, whatever your coping mechanism is, I invite you to hold off from having it and just begin to notice and have an awareness of what it is that's coming up for you. So it might be agitation in the body. Your hands might start to shake, you might feel your heart start to race. But then what I'd really invite your guests to notice is if they can go inside their body, really focus on that part of the body and really thank it, because an emotion is made up of all physical sensations. When I have clients that come in, I might say to them, okay, I invite you to notice whether or not that feeling feels heavy or light. Is it hot or cold? Is it lots of pressure in that area, or is it more ease? And it might have a color attached to it. Is there movement? All of these things are tiny little physical sensations, and it's all these little physical sensations that make up an emotion. And what I invite you to notice is, or just imagine, if you've got an emotion, if you were to think of it like an opera. Okay, now an opera can be so extremely powerful. It has the power to make you laugh, make you cry, make you happy, or make you sad. But if you can imagine the power that that opera would have if there was just the one instrument playing, just like if there was just the one physical sensation that you were focused on, what would the power then be?
What practical advice do you have for our viewers?
Okay, so the practical advice that I would provide viewers is that if they, after completing that little exercise that I just provided, so just holding off and just noticing what is coming up in the body, if that makes you feel uncomfortable, please seek a professional therapist. Once again, we're looking at all different types of modalities, so whatever is right for you. My suggestion would be for somebody to seek somebody that works with the body, because it's the body that's where it's at. I know that there has previously been people who have worked with particular therapists for maybe three years, and they may have had an emotional eating issue. But then when they've gone and sought help with working with the body, it really didn't take long for them to just drop that emotional eating issue, and they were able to, feel safer in the world. They were approaching things differently. So it really depends on the person, what is right and safe for them as to what action of therapy it is that they take. But I strongly suggest people have a look at different associations, because you want to know that those people are qualified. You don't want to just go off and choose anybody. But you want to go to associations, have a look at what practitioners it is that they suggest on their web pages.
Thank you, Julie.
No worries.
If you would like to know more about Julie Makin and addictions and habits, please visit her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we'll be back with another interesting guest and another interesting topic.
Stay tuned. After the break, Sue Williams, Doctor of Quantum Counselling and Clinical Hypnotherapist, will be talking about healing energies across species. Can the same techniques benefit both humans and animals? Welcome back. Our next guest, Sue Williams, is a Doctor of Quantum Counselling and a Clinical Hypnotherapist. And the topic we'll be discussing is healing energies across animals and humans. Welcome, Sue.
Thanks, Megan. It's great to be here.
Sue, could you tell us a little bit more about healing energies?
Yes, this is something that I've become very interested in, and it's been a bit of a logical progression from the other modalities that I've already studied. And it's definitely cross-species, because we're all energetic beings, we're all composed of energy, and quantum physics, which I go back to quite often with a lot of my modalities, means that we are all connected energetically. So it's like the air we breathe, we can't see it, but these energy fields are there. And the ones that people are probably most common with are the EMFs, so your electromagnetic fields, which we're supposed to try and avoid, the microwaves in our microwave ovens, radio waves. I mean, we've got our phones are sending out waves, energy waves all the time, so we're surrounded by energy without us even realising. But the great thing about that is that we can incorporate that into healing. We can use different techniques to find out what is wrong with our energy fields, whether they're unbalanced, whether they need support, and then we can use many different ways to support them and get them back into alignment. And if we go back centuries, we look at traditional Chinese medicine, that is based on the meridians, which are the energy lines through our bodies where the qi flows. And of course they've used acupuncture and acupressure for millennia to be able to heal and correct different problems with humans and animals. And I know even in the racing industry, acupuncture is used a lot with racehorses. And whether you believe it or not, a horse doesn't know any better. And if it makes them improve and improves their health, well.
So can we actually use similar healing energies on animals and humans?
Absolutely. As I said, we're all energetic beings. So the same rules apply to the animals as they do to the humans. And there's an incredible new technology, bioenergetics, that actually uses modern technology to scan the body field of humans. And at this stage, we're horses, dogs and cats, because there is specific software for those three species. But it can be expanded to animals that are a similar shape to a horse, say a cow, or something similar. It's got the 4 legs and a big body. So we can use it with different animals. But that scans the body field of whatever the being is, and finds where it's disrupted, where it needs support, and you view it on your computer. So these traditional ways with the Reiki and acupuncture and similar modalities now is definitely in the 21st century, with it all being able to be viewed on your computer. So it's definitely a great alternative for people who are having physical problems, nagging injuries. It's very good for. And again, if you've got emotions that you need a bit of help with, it'll be something to do with your energy field, and these technologies and these modalities can definitely help. And this bioenergetics field, this new technology is just amazing. And the great thing for us is that it was actually developed by an Australian, I think more than 30 years ago now. His name is Peter Fraser. He's no longer with us, unfortunately, but his work is being carried on with other specialists and one particular man who trained with Peter. So it's an ongoing project that they're developing more and more with this technology. But it's really great that it started here in Australia. So many good things have started here in Australia. So we've got a lot to thank Peter Fraser for this particular modality.
That's so interesting, Sue. Do you have any advice for our viewers on their own energy healing journey?
Yes, definitely, because these days we have so many professionals who specialise in these different modalities who can help us. So reach out. If you want to go the traditional route first, acupuncture is just available everywhere. Allopathic doctors very often offer acupuncture as well, because they have realised the benefits. Reiki, again, is very widespread. It's getting to be very well known. So definitely look up a professional, because sometimes it's more difficult for us to change our energetic field ourselves. We do need that external help. But yep, turn to the professional and start with ones that you're aware of, like the acupuncture and acupressure. And then if you want to find out more, then move on. Educate yourself, and then it's certainly not going to hurt, and it will help your pets and animals as well.
Thanks, Sue. That's such valuable and interesting information. If you'd like to know more about Sue Williams and the benefits of energy healing for humans and animals, please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And we're going to say bye-bye for today and see you next time. If you'd like to know more about our show, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.